So where are you now in training camp? What have you got left to do?
Tomorrow I got a hill run. I'm going to run about 2.5 miles up a hill and then some footwork drills. And then I got a day off on Sunday and then weight management.
And how you manage to find training partners and that kind of stuff?
So I have a private gym. CDC says under 10 people, so we haven't had more than 10 people in the gym at once. In this sport, you're always going to be ready to step up for somebody else because you never know when you're going to need a training partner. So I have great teammates. I've had great training partners and great sparring partners. Kamaru Usman and Benil Dariush flew out last week.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So yeah, it was there's a few ways I could pass away or die early. Coronavirus or not training for a fight and stepping in there. So I know one's coming for sure.
Were there any changes to your training camp? Is there any noticeable difference between this and normal?
As far as the coronavirus, no, but time has been different. I've never taken this is be a 5-week camp or 6 weeks till I fight is when I found out. The fight is I've never done a fight with that little time. Usually I take 10 to 12 weeks. So right when we heard, we ramped it up and tried to get to peak shape as soon as possible.
So what additional preparations have you got to go through for this event with the UFC? Have you got like additional testing and that kind of stuff to do?
I believe so. They sent out some guidelines, rules, regulations, kind of the guidelines that they're going to follow. I read it once, but I haven't really studied it. I know all the precautions are being taken. We're flying on public planes, so it's not very precautious, but it is what it is. I'll be wearing a mask. Yeah, I think I know they're going to test us. I know every time if we leave the hotel and come back, they're going to run us through some medical screening, probably take our temperatures. Delivering food is going to be dropped off at the door. Room service is going to be few and far between whenever we want it or need it, and all precautions with hospital-grade sanitation equipment is going to be used. We're all going to have our own room to work out. That's kind of the gist of what I got from the information.
And what are your thoughts on Tony Ferguson?
Man, I've been a fan of Tony for a long time. He loves when people call him crazy, turns him on. But he's a certain kind of crazy that you have to step in the octagon and be comfortable. And I believe I'm just as crazy as him in that regard. So I've said it before. I think this is the definition of MMA. A matchup like this. I do not believe it cannot be a great fight, a great matchup. I believe there's going to be some serious carnage, some serious violence. I'll probably bleed. I hope he breaks my nose. I've been waiting for a long time for someone to break my nose so I can get it fixed.
Yeah, and what about technically? Have you added anything to your game? Have you changed anything to kind of deal with anything he brings to the table?
I always approach fights as you got to be your best self. If he could beat the best Justin Gaethje, then that's all I can ask of myself is to be my best self. For me, I've always really relied on my coach to instill a game plan. We don't talk about it. We don't think about it together. I know that he does his homework. I know that he's been in this game for forever. And he's been developing something, and on fight night, I'll figure out what that is.
And what changed after, because, your last 3 fights, in my opinion, I watched your back catalogue yesterday, man, really enjoyable. But those last 3 fights in particular, you look head and shoulders above yourself, if that makes sense. Like you step forward, you're making better decisions. What was the change? What was the difference?
Yeah, I lost twice in a row. Before that, it was really I knew I had. That's how I had won. I had won 7 amateur fights and 18 professional fights, 25 fights straight. So there really wasn't a time when I could be like, let's change something. I really feel like no matter, even if I knew what was going to happen, then I wouldn't have been able to change it necessarily because it was working and I was enjoying myself so much. But really, after those 2 fights, I really made the same mistake in those fights. I don't necessarily think, I think I was winning. Whether I was winning or not is irrelevant because someone's going to get finished in my fights. And I thought I was well on the way to finishing Dustin Poirier and Eddie Alvarez. And really, I became too relaxed. I started having too much fun. And I forgot that I'm fighting. I didn't forget, but, it only takes 1 second to really become relaxed and take one of those shots from one of the guys that are fighting in the top 5 of any UFC division. But, starting at heavyweights, but, 55 pounders, we got the speed and we got the power to put people's lights out. So, I really just was like, you can't get hit. If you don't get hit, if you conserve your energy and if you pick your shots, I was never picking my shots. I was just trying to knock their head off from minute 1 to minute 25. I figured one of them would land and one of them would knock them out. I was really able to just start picking my shots. And so I had eye surgery in 2017 or late 2016, and it's really taken me, 2.5, 3 years to really kind of be able to use my eyesight and see things. I never saw a thing in a cage or an octagon. I was fighting off. I still fought off peripherals, but I really never saw anything. I have poked people in the eye, but no matter what, my only way to find them was to put my hand on them. That's how I found my range, and that's how I was able to punch them. Outside of that, I have very, very poor vision, and now I have 20/20 vision, and I really believe that I'm able to, over the time, I've been able to really take advantage of that and use it as an asset.
Do you think that's one of the reasons why you're able to get your head off the center line a lot more now, or is that more of a decision that you're just not going to get hit as much?
I think it's a little bit of both. Mostly the latter. I don't want to get hit anymore.
Yeah.
I really do love getting hit. It doesn't bother me at all. Again, I hope he breaks my nose so I can get it fixed. I can't breathe through my nose. I haven't been able to breathe through my nose for like 9 years. So that's something I'm looking forward to one day. But to win a fight, you can't get hit in the right spot at the right time. And, so I really need to avoid that.
And is it difficult to not look past this fight? Because obviously, this puts you in a very interesting scenario, and you're the one that comes in, upsets the whole plan for Ferguson against Khabib. That's probably a fight you wanted to watch yourself, right?
I did, man. I really did. But at the end of the day, I'll be happy to ruin it for everybody.
And which one, out of interest, do you think? Would you rather fight short notice? Because Tony Ferguson, there's a lot of unpredictabilities with his game, whereas I kind of feel like you match up really well with Khabib because you've got such a strong wrestling style.
Yeah, I don't think I would have taken the fight against Khabib on short notice. Matchup-wise, I think I have a much better chance of touching Tony's chin than Khabib's up, in the first 2-3 rounds. And in order to get taken down once or twice by Khabib and work up and still be able to fight, I really do need at least 10 weeks. I've been training my whole life, but, there's certain lactic acid that builds up that you really have to account for. I'd be foolish. No matter what, I don't, this is not perfect circumstances, but a fight is a fight. When it was on 14 days notice, that was much different than now, or 20 days notice. Now I've had 5 weeks to train. It's not what I've asked for or wanted, but I do believe before this I was in better shape than, I didn't let myself go. I was telling myself since the beginning of the year I was going to fight again and it was going to be a big fight. So I was running and I was doing things that I don't usually do outside of camp.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on Tony making weight the other week?
To each his own, I guess. I would never do that. I can see a mock weigh-in, maybe 12 weeks out or 8 weeks out, but that was less than a month ago, less than 3 weeks ago. So I don't know. I'm sure that it's going to help him confidence-wise, and but I don't know. Hopefully he'll go to sleep much easier.
Just let me ask you this, because when you originally took this fight, you did it on like 12 days notice, but that April 18th date got pushed back a couple of weeks to give you more preparation for your bout with Ferguson. What impact will that have on the fight Saturday?
It's huge. This is 90% mental, like most things in life. And, that extra 3 weeks gave me a total of 5 weeks total as opposed to 2. And I think it's crucial. It's crucial for my mind mostly, but physically my body has really responded after those. The weight cut was going to be tough. I was going to have to do it like an old wrestler. Now I was able to dial in my diet and cut the weight a little bit more naturally. So I think it's going to serve me in this fight.
Clearly you want to win this fight and you believe you will win this fight, but you said you hope that Ferguson breaks your nose during the bout. Why?
So 12 years ago, my lip right here, it's split down the middle. I was not born like this. I took one headbutt. It went through my nose, through my lip, and it pretty much collapsed my septum. I had surgery, but I didn't get it fixed till 6 months after the initial injury. So my bones, healed up, and they couldn't get through my right side. So I don't want to take time off. I don't want to pay for it. So if Tony cracks me in the nose, the UFC's got to pay for it, and I'll be good to go. After I get the W, I'll have the belt. That'll make me feel good going through the healing process. It literally, when I got the nose surgery, it was one of the worst things I've ever been through. They stick some, this test that you're talking about is nothing compared to having your nose broken and having them stick, pretty much cotton all the way up through your eyeballs. When they pull it out, the doctor was like, just hold this thing up below you. And then he pulled it out and I started screaming. He's like, oh, Yeah, it hurts a little bit. Some women have described it as the pain of giving birth. I was like, you son of a gun, you didn't tell me anything like that. I wasn't mentally prepared at all.
Dana White posted a hype video for this fight on social media the other day, and you came over the top of it and you said that the fight would be even better than the hype video. And that's not always the case in any competition, let alone UFC. Why do you think this fight is going to be so good, especially for the people watching at home?
Yeah, so the 2 fights I lost and the Michael Johnson fight. The Eddie Alvarez fight won Fight of the Year. The Dustin Poirier fight took second, and the Michael Johnson fight took second in 2017. So when I did the math, that was 3 out of the top 5 fights out of 950 some odd fights. If you've seen me fight, you know what I do. There's only one way for me. I have to go to sleep or they have to go to sleep. And I know that's what people love. So, it's not about winning or losing to me. It's all about preparation and giving everything and not disappointing myself, my family, and representing myself well. And so as long as I do that, I'm content.
Yeah, you dish out and receive as much punishment per minute in the fight game as anyone else in UFC. So
I
that's
got the record
entertaining
for
to look.
both, as a matter of fact. I got the record for getting hit and hitting.
Right. So that's exciting.
Luckily,
by
I hit
itself.
like a truck.
Yeah.
Luckily, I hit like a truck, dude.
Let me ask you this. I know you're not going to give away all of your strategy for this fight, but Ferguson has one of the more unorthodox styles we have in UFC, especially today. How can you disrupt a style, Justin, that's naturally disrupted already?
Yeah, when you're in that octagon, there's adrenaline just coursing through your veins, and I've been working my whole life to be comfortable in that situation. It's not going to be easy, and it's going to take some time. That's the first stuff. When a fight starts, someone has to control distance. Someone has to control pace, and those are 2 things that are going to be figured out early. We can't both fight at the space that we want to, so one of us is going to win that game, and that's going to be a huge factor.